Hey everybody, what's going on? YouTube memberships are active. Also, you can jump over to the Patreon and support over there if you'd like to do so as well. Links are below. But let's give a huge thank you to our top tier members, World Champ, Freak Maniac, and our Grand Slam Raz. Let's get on with this show. If you want to support the podcast, there's great ways you can do so without doing memberships. There's super chats, there's donations on the YouTube side, or head to the links below and grab some cool merchandise and t-shirts. On the TeePublic side, hats were just introduced. So if you want some cool hats, they're both on both sites, but more selections on various. So make sure you check out both of them, support the podcast, and let's get on with episode 144. Here's some music by the Converse Kid. What's going on, everybody? We are back. ABJ Podcast, episode 144, with professional wrestler ROJAS. I'll bring him in one moment. Just before we get started, make sure you guys check the links below for all things happening with the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, as well as the bell notification so you can see when we're going to go live, so you can check out all that great content. Today's episode is supposed to be with Hardcore. It has been delayed. It has not been canceled. It will happen in the future. Very, very excited to have Hardcore on. But that interview is cursed. Every single time we're about to do it, something happens. Whether I get hit by tornadoes, this guy's eyeball's ready to fall out. All these crazy things are going. His eye didn't really fall out. I'm embellishing for the sake of a joke. I hope he's listening. He gets a chuckle out of it. But yeah, a lot of crazy things are happening every time we do this. Also, if you want to check out some good content, this Thursday, I will be live once again, 9 o'clock. We'll be doing a horror movie review for Terrifier 2. My buddy Courtney's coming back to talk about some Terrifier 2. So, a lot of content coming. Great interviews coming throughout the rest of this month. Tornado Tag every Saturday or Sunday, depending on what day we can record. Two more interviews this month, and another horror movie review. Just the other day, Not Cool in High School just had the review of Terminator 2 with Sonny Defarge, so make sure you go check that one out as well. But that's pretty much all I got. Make sure you check the links below to follow my guests on their social medias and follow them, support them, show some love. If you're listening to this on the audio platform, a 5-star review goes a long way. Screenshot this episode on your phone, whatever platform you're watching, and post it on social media and give me a little review. Use hashtag ABJ Podcast or hashtag I love ABJ. Without further ado, let's bring in my guest. Very new to the game, very new to professional wrestling. Can't wait to hear their side. It comes from a great school out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania called Catch Point Wrestling. I'm sure we'll dive into that. Listen, here's the first things first. A lot of people got an opportunity WrestleMania weekend, that showed up, that weren't booked for shows, that were from this school and that he's trained with, that just showed up to be part of it and see if they needed help and see if they can get an opportunity. And I love when people do that. So I take them aside and I say, let's film some content and get you some cool stuff. Unfortunately, he was not able to do it. But today the seat opened up. He reached out, and now he's essentially here telling the rest of the kids at Catch Point, haha, suck it. I got the full podcast before you guys. So let's bring him in. ROJAS. What's going on, bud?
Hey, what's going on, man?
If I can get someone to pop before the podcast starts, that's what it's all about. How you doing? Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, for everyone listening or watching the podcast, my name is ROJAS, first graduating class of Catch Point, Philadelphia. And honestly, I'm just really excited. As ABJ said, I'm new. I'm still in my rookie year of professional wrestling. So I'm still learning a lot, but I'm also doing a lot, and I'm just overall excited to be here.
Yeah. So when did you fall in love with this business or this industry?
I fell in love with pro wrestling ever since, like every other wrestler when they were a kid, essentially. My best friend, childhood best friend at the time, he had SmackDown versus Raw 2008, I think, on the PlayStation 2. He would destroy me every time because I didn't know how to play. I was a button masher as a kid. He had the action figures, and
choked that made me choke my own water here.
But yeah, I fell in love with professional wrestling, like through video game wise. And my earliest memory of it is just, I just remember seeing, Sheamus just destroy John Cena through a table on an episode of Monday Night Raw, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is real. these are real people. Oh, and I've just been hooked ever since I was like 8 years old.
You unlocked a core memory. I think it was Here Comes the Pain. That's why I laughed because we used to play all the time with me and a set of brothers, and we used to always team up, even though it was supposed to be a match for every man for himself. And poor Dave, the oldest brother, always got jumped, and we jumped him for like an hour and refused to pin him. And it was so bad. Like, we knew all the exploits and everything and just held him down as much as possible. And it got to the point where he just snapped. He snapped and he threw the controller and he screamed and he just left. And you're saying like button mashing, like wrestling video games can infuriate people. But so, who were you as a kid growing up? Like, were you an athlete? Were you more of like the quiet, keep to yourself? What was your personality type for the most time growing up?
I was more of a little bit of a social butterfly, but also more like to keep to myself. Like, yeah, I had my group of friends, but if they weren't around, I'd keep to myself unless I felt like the vibe was like, hey, I could be a little bit out there and just like socialize a little bit. It really depended on the mood, the room at the time.
So did you play sports or anything like that?
I played soccer a lot as a kid. I wasn't in like a city team or something like that. It was just me and a group of friends. We'd go down to the park in our local patch of dirt and just play soccer. Came home with a lot of bruises, scraped knees, and a lot of dirty clothes that my mom hated washing as a kid.
Yeah. And the reason I asked that is because, like, when I always ask that question, because going into wrestling training or when you start that process, I feel like if you're someone who has been through any type of athletic growing up in sports, whether it's 2-a-days or 3-a-days, or you put yourself in like that commitment where you have to show up to something and you have to grow through that. Some people don't experience that until they join professional wrestling. And that kind of blows my mind because, like, as an adult who can go and do a job or do what you want to do, but then be like, you want me to do, oh, I lost my guess. I don't know what happened. Are they back? They're back. All right. But yeah, but to go through that as an adult and kind of put yourself through a 2-a-day or 3-a-day or go to a situation where people are trying to break you physically and mentally, it's impressive to me to see someone try to like go through that at an older age, because I don't know if I would have the mental fortitude to do so. But when did you start to pursue this industry, and how did you get started and find your school?
Well, originally I wanted to pursue this at like 16, 17. I was located in like North Jersey base, and I was looking up wrestling schools near me because I was that much into it. Like, I took a little hiatus like early 2010s, I believe ish, for whatever reason, and then I just fell back in love with wrestling. I was like, all right, I could kind of see myself doing this. Didn't really happen. And then obviously, like everyone's story, the pandemic hit, affected everyone differently. Me, I ended up moving closer to Philly, and I was like, once the world started opening up more, I was like, all right, I think I can give wrestling another shot. Looking up schools, found some good schools. None of them really caught my eye until out of nowhere I saw an Instagram post saying, hey, Drew Gulak's opening up a school, and trainers are going to be Wheeler Yuta and Hot Sauce. And I was a fan of both of them, so I was like, okay. Let's give this wrestling, let's actually do it. No more BS, let's just do it.
So I'm going to put you on the hot seat here real quick.
All right.
You hear Drew Gulak, you hear Wheeler Yuta, you hear Tracy Hot Sauce Williams. Who do you mark out for the most? Like, I'm going to that school.
Oh, I'm gonna get.
Yeah, we're gonna put you there. We're putting you there. F, marry, kill your trainers. No.
probably Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta, man. It was after that one match he had with John Moxley. I think it was their third one on Rampage. I was like, oh, this guy's really great, actually. I am a fan. I was hooked on him ever since that match.
Yeah. So I knew of Gulak because of WWE and stuff. I feel like he wasn't utilized as much as I would like him to be utilized in the WWE. And Hot Sauce Williams, I've seen a lot on the independent scene. I've got to see him all over the place. Very, very impressive talent. Probably my favorite match with him of all time is at Avery Good's retirement match at LVAC. He wrestled Willow Nightingale, and they beat the garbage out of each other. I believe Willow may have broken his orbital bone because Willow doesn't play. But it was one of those matches where, like, it's an intergender match, but neither one of them treated as such, and they just went out there and performed. and unbelievable. We got to see him at WrestleMania weekend as well. Yes, he got to team up with some guy. I forget if he was going by his shoot name or if he was going by his character out of the mask. I honestly, I forget. It's that week was a blur. But also Wheeler, I got to see Wheeler Yuta wrestle Daniel Garcia at IWTV 100, and they went 60 minutes in the H2O factory, which is the hottest building I've ever been in my life. And that building was a sauna, and they went an hour and just tore the house down. And then I got to see that later on TV when they redid it again at AEW ROH. So very, very, very talented school, very, very talented people. So I definitely agree. That's a good catch. And there's so many good schools in the area. You can't really go wrong. But that is definitely a very elite school.
Right.
Yeah. So coming through the door of that school, you're going to do your first couple days of training. You're meeting the people you're training with. What is your experience like? Was it everything you thought it was going to be? First time those shoulders hit the mat, where you're like, "Uh-oh, I'm in for it." What was your mind state?
For the actual bumping wasn't the issue because I felt a lot on my back as a kid. I was very clumsy, like legit, like Clark Kent style, like would trip over air if I could. If I did actually, but no. The thing that kind of hurt me the most was running the ropes because the rope burns on my back. I was like, "Ow, this is not normal. I don't like this." And then over time,
what's worse, the ones in the back or the under the arm? I feel like the under the arm ones hurt. That's got to suck the worst because your shirt rubs against that arm friction.
I think I didn't really get that one under the arm right here. I think I got it mostly like on the back. Obviously, like I held the ropes when they taught me how to run the ropes, but I just felt it more on my back, more to be honest.
Yeah, people don't realize that they leave burns and rubs. If you're not a professional wrestling person, you're listening to this podcast and learning about this industry. Yeah, those ropes, they're not forgiving. Just as much as everything about that ring hurts. There's nothing that feels great. Like you're not on a mattress having a good time. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, no, you are getting your body used to hitting the mat, and it's unforgiving. Literally, I think when I first started, I had all these rope burns everywhere. My family was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "No, I told you my wrestling dream." And they were like, they put two and two together. They were like, oh, it hurts like that. Like, yeah.
Now, are you paying for your school yourself? Is your family helping you? Like, what is your family dynamic when it comes to chasing your dream?
Financially wise, it is all me. I literally didn't spring this up. I sprung this up on my mom completely by surprise. Because I told her, I was like, "Oh, hey, there's some wrestling schools that I kind of want to check out." Checked out one, loved it. Price really didn't work out for me. But then I found Catch Point, which is like a 30-minute drive for me too. And I also didn't tell my mom I was doing that until like 2 weeks in, because she was like, "Why are you coming home so late? And why are you always in pain?" And I just sprung. I was like, "Surprise! I'm wrestling," and I got an earful that day.
Yeah, are they not fans of professional wrestling? It's not a thing they're into.
No, they are. Well, my mom was not a fan of seeing her son get slammed on a mat, get thrown around, coming home with bruises. And I don't really know what my father said because unfortunately he passed away before I started my wrestling training.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But he was always an avid fan of it. Every time he'd see me watch wrestling, he would always joke around saying, "Hey, when are you gonna start doing that? When am I gonna see you on TV?" It's like,
who were some of your dad's favorites or people that both of you like together?
I don't think he really had a favorite. He wasn't really into wrestling. I was somehow the only wrestling guy in the family. But he'd see me gravitate toward Rey Mysterio because Rey Mysterio was Mexican. I'm also Mexican, so he kind of was like, "Oh, do some of that." I'm like,
yeah. I have a couple. Hard to see on the shelf here. We added a new edition. Actually, on the other side of me, we got two Rey masks right there. I got a black and gold one because it's the podcast color scheme, and then we got the Halloween Havoc '94. I'm trying. We're adding some detail to the shelf back there, adding some more flair.
Good.
I love the luchadors. The Mexican culture in professional wrestling is something that I've always gravitated to. Here's the most beautiful thing about professional wrestling is, obviously America has its own style. Mexico has a style. Japanese, the UK, the British, the Europe in general. And it's kind of cool to see how all of them mix together. And WrestleMania weekend was really cool because you've seen people come up from Mexico who, maybe do a thing with their English isn't the greatest, but it's all Spanish. And then someone from Japan comes and their English is not the greatest and all they know is Japanese, but just the art form and the language of professional wrestling. They just know the movements and know how to work with each other and not even know how to verbally communicate, but can go in the ring and still put something on for people. And that blows my mind. It's unbelievable. It's kind of like playing soccer. Like if you play in soccer, football, I'm sorry, everyone else. But you can play an entire game with someone who does not speak the same language as you, but you can do hand movements or signals or just calls to be like through, like, you know what I mean? And there's certain terminology that it just is universal in the sport that it just flows. Each game and each industry has its own language and verbiage that until you experience it, you'll never know. You'll never know what that means, or what that feels like.
Right. No, I definitely agree with you on that. Wrestling in general is like its own universal language. Is once you know the basics, once you know the basics, the fundamentals, you can go have a match with essentially almost anyone who knows the same stuff you know. But like, let's say I'm wrestling someone from like who you said, Japan, whose English isn't that good. They know they know how to throw a clothesline, take a bump, corner. I'm like, okay, yeah, we can still have a pretty good match despite a language barrier right there. But the barrier that we don't have is what's in between the ropes and the mat, which is just us feeling each other out. And that's what I kind of really love about wrestling too.
So how are the beginning stages and finding your place in this business? And what are some I'm sorry, I don't want to overshoot it. Finding your place in this business. How was it those beginning stages?
The beginning stages, it was kind of hard because originally I was trying to lean away from like you said, lucha and spectacular, but it really wasn't working out for me. And I was like, if I can't do like, let's say like European, like English style wrestling or like American wrestling, what can I do? And I started gravitating toward lucha, but I kind of found myself at a crossroads. I was like, do I want to embrace the stereotype? Do I not want to embrace the stereotype? But essentially, it worked out for me. Lucha's the style that I'm learning right now, and it's doing wonders for me, to be honest. So
I would say don't really take it as a stereotype. Like you're honoring culture. You know what I mean? Like that's your culture aspect to this business, and I think it's kind of dope that you're like, listen, I'm like has growing up obviously Mexican and in that culture, does the wrestling aspect of it bring or make you want to seek out more of that culture and the history of that in that aspect?
Essentially, yeah. One of my big dreams for wrestling is to essentially go to Mexico, train under an actual maestro or an actual like lucha school for like maybe a couple months and come back here, show what I've learned. That's kind of
awesome.
what.
Yeah, that's super sick. It's gonna happen for you, and I cannot wait for that day, and we can talk about it when you come back. But also going into school, did you show up with a buddy? Did you go into the school with a friend? Did you show up completely alone by yourself and just hoping you make some friends? Like you're the new kid at school who showed up all by himself? Because that's maybe someone listening thinks why is that impressive to you? But it is like walking into a building where you're going to do something like this or any situation. Like most people, when they join something or they go do something, they do it with a friend. You and your friend have enough confidence to do it together, to walk in together, and maybe one of you are into it and the other one aren't, and one backs out, one quits. But that initial feeling of walking through the door, sometimes someone needs a buddy, you know what I mean, to kind of come do that with. You came in by yourself. How was that acclimating with all the students and finding new friends or a new family in this business?
Oh yeah, no, it was terrifying walking in those doors. Like literally going to the building, I was like, am I really doing this? Am I really doing this? Have my gym bag in hand. I'm like, it's not too late to turn back. It's not too late to turn back. What if I was scared, I'm not gonna lie. But the moment I entered those doors, I saw the wrestling ring, I saw the mats on the floor, and I was like, okay, no, we're doing this. No backing down now. We're already here. Let's do it. And over time, like you said, I grew with the people, grew with my fellow trainees, and just became like a second home, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, did you follow the independent wrestling scene as well in the area, or were you mostly just watching what was on TV?
I was mostly watching what was on TV, but every now and again, growing up, I would see like a flyer for like some indie promotion near me, and it would catch my eye. But my family really never really had the money to go to that. I know tickets were cheap back then in the early 2010s. Not really cheap, but anyways, I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to. But then as I got older, I started actually following independents and like Japan, England, also here in the States, which opened my eyes to Ring of Honor, which led me to hot sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what were some setbacks or over adversities you had to overcome so far in this industry, or doing what you're doing in this line of work?
Setbacks, probably me not probably not being as athletic as I thought I would be. Because before going into training, I was in the gym essentially like 4 to 5 times a week, not really doing that much cardio, which I've learned I probably should have done a little bit more before. But also, kind of money wise, to be honest, I was always taught, hey, save your money for like the future. Later on, you're gonna need it like in a little safety net, and I really wasn't good at that. So the safety net was not really safe. But as I got older, I learned, okay, if this is something you really want to do, set aside a certain amount of money and don't touch that under any circumstances, because you're just going to be shooting yourself in the foot later on in life. And also, essentially, just, I guess, kind of being sheltered in a way. Like, I didn't have helicopter parents growing up, thankfully, but I was also, my parents were like, hey, don't do this or don't do that. They kind of didn't let me explore the world on my own until I got older, which is kind of what set me back a little bit.
So you were essentially sheltered, maybe going to the park to play some soccer to call it a day, and then just like, I'm not saying a word. I'm going to save up my money, and I'm going to go and do a wrestling school and ask for forgiveness rather than for permission, essentially, right?
Yeah, essentially.
That's a ballsy move, brother. I respect that. That really shows you want this dream. You know what I mean? Like that's before you even step to the ropes, you have crossed and done some mental barriers that a lot of people aren't even they're too afraid to tackle those before they even chase their dreams. And that those first barriers are sometimes the hardest ones to overcome.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely the dog you have in your own mind that's telling you you can't do this. Sometimes you just got to say, hey, shut up, I can do this, and I'm going to prove you wrong. And I essentially did prove that little voice in my head wrong. And I'm kind of glad I did.
Athleticism will come, charisma or character building will come, which we'll get into in a moment. But I think what you've overcome already is a really good testament to who you are as a person and your growth as a person as well. So I commend you for that. That's really, really dope. What are some key moments or accomplishments we kind of just talked about a little bit here that you have acquired or accomplished this far in your career?
Accomplishments, having my first match and just having my first match in general and safely as well. I had my first match with Tom LaRosa, and we worked together.
What a stud that kid is! What a stud!
Yeah, no, that guy's great. I love. He's so great at just interacting with crowd and everything. Just having the charisma. I really admire that guy.
His charisma is incredible. Like, so the first time I seen him, I was like, who is this? He's a little undersized. He's working on the body side, you know what I mean? And but he's very quiet, kind of himself, and he plays this heel character. But sometimes I say the best characters are just you turn it to 11, and you can see there's a little bit of him in that character. Like when you see him outside that, he is an absolute sweetheart, but he has a little edge to him.
Oh yeah,
his charisma. Like I've seen him work more, and the way he works a crowd, and the way he conducts himself, and the way man, like this is gonna be some crazy praise, but like maybe not in the same aspect how I said there's a little bit of truth to every character, but like Adam Cole, when he puts on that heel role, I feel like he makes me believe it, even though he's not the biggest guy in the ring, and it looks like he can harm me or hurt me or anything. But he's like, I'm going to work harder than you, and I'm going to dominate you. And Tom carries that swagger to him, and his size and everything about him doesn't make you believe it until he hits those ropes, and he makes you believe it.
Right. No, he's overall amazing. To see his growth from like no wrestling training at all to the growth he has now, it's amazing. Character-wise, I've been in the ring with him a couple of times, and I think like, oh yeah, I'm bigger than him. I could mess him up, but the way he starts talking down on me in the ring and actually like hitting those suplexes, I'm like, okay, whoa, wait. How did you get this far? We started at the same time. No, it's great. No, I really just having my first match with him was really great. Also opened my eyes. Also another thing that career-wise, just getting the cape out there. I don't know if it's on the graphic, but I have a cape that has Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
It's
That was my
beautiful.
father's
It's
kid.
absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. That's gotten a lot of eyes, and that was my mission in wrestling. If before my father passed away, my goal was to honor him and honor this beautiful cape right there. It has the Mexican eagle with him eating the snake surrounded by flowers. Just I amaze myself every time I look at it, and I hope others get amazed by it too. To be
Is that
honest,
sequence? Is that sequence on it?
it is sequenced,
Did you
so
get
it
that
is.
custom made or did you make that?
I didn't make it. My father made it for something Mexican wise in our culture. He
Like a
was something called
mariachi?
a sort of similar, but also kind of different. It's like ceremonial dancing to an extent.
Okay.
And yeah, it was something called a charo. Also had the clay mat that you see me holding up right there. He had a little. We have little golden tassels. It's meant to intimidate. So I wear that out to the ring as a way to honor him too.
Yeah,
And the
I
fact
think
that
it's
it's just gotten
super cool.
thank you. The fact that I've gotten eyes on it is just amazing. That's
Yeah.
what he always wanted, and I'm glad I'm carrying out his wishes too, while I'm pursuing my dream.
It says here, is that Zerpe? Lily asks.
I have no idea. I kind of gotta look more into it because I kind of just told my mom, "Hey, can I use this? You think he'd be okay with it?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, he always wanted you to have it when you were a little kid."
It looks similar to one that her grandpa carried around. Now here's a question: where did ROJAS come from, and is it a family name? I was going to say that too. How did you develop the character, and how you kind of said the look kind of was something that your dad had, and you kind of carried that into your wrestling. The name, how did you come? Is it your shoot name? How did you come up with it? Where do we find the character?
It is my shoot name. It's my father's name too. I was named after my father, so as I was thinking wrestling names, I was thinking
Are you a
I was
junior?
I am technically, but not. It's complicated, but
Okay.
in my heart, I'm a junior, and family calls me junior, so I essentially have
I'm
to.
also a junior. Yeah, I have junior complex. Yeah.
I can see ABJ, but uh, yeah. As I was thinking of my wrestling name, I was thinking there aren't really many Rojases out there because Rojas is a kind of a fairly common last name,
Mhm.
but not much you see in wrestling. I can't think of one Rojas in wrestling, so I
You could be
thought, hey,
Rojas, and then if you ever don a mask, you'd be Rojas Junior, and you could
I,
we'll throw a little Ray in there. You know what I mean?
hey, you're giving me ideas, brother. You're giving me
I
ideas.
do that a lot. I do that a lot. A lot of cutting room floor stuff has ended up in people's careers. I love luchador masks. The idea of a masks in general. I just recently started getting into like Japanese animation, and we're watching this show, Demon Slayer, and everyone, like a lot of the people in the show, have their own masks, and the
Yeah.
masks represent like the family of Demon Slayers.
Mm-hmm.
A good mask to me is sick. I'm a sucker for a mask.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, me too. Growing up, like I mentioned, Rey Mysterio was also my guy, but also recently, Bandito, Ray Fennec,
Mm,
Penta on. I was like,
yeah. Yeah,
beautiful.
Penta and Ray are unbelievable. So
They're
cool.
so beautiful. I get stunned every time I see them.
Yeah. So, who are some influences or role models so far in this with you in this journey, or you just watching, or maybe meeting people on the independent scene or at schools or family?
Uh, Probably it would have to be family and support system in general. Yeah, they're my kind of support system. At first, they were like, "Are you really want to do this?" But then my family saw my first match and they saw how much work I put into it, how much love I have to it, and they're like, "If you love it, we will support you 100%." And they still do to this day. Literally, my normal schedule is like I come home from work, I eat, I rest up a little bit, and I go train for 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and that kind of takes a toll on family wise. But they understand. Well, let's pursue the dream while we're still young, and I love that for them. Also, my friends were on board with the dream 100% straight out of the gate when I told them. At first, I was debating on telling them because, growing up, I was thinking, oh, if you like wrestling, if you tell people you like wrestling, you're gonna get made fun of, you're gonna get the yada yada yada, all the BS that comes with being a wrestling fan. But I told them, they were like, okay, we don't watch wrestling, but we do know it's physical, and you are a pretty hefty guy, so we think you could take it, so do it. And I've had some friends come to some of my matches, and they were like, "Jeez, I can't do that. I respect you even more now."
Yeah.
So probably them. They would be my biggest support in my career right now.
Yeah. Mache in the chat says 18 years ago, I had a friend said he wanted to go to wrestling school with me, but when we graduated from high school, he changed his mind. Well, don't give up. If that's seriously your dream, grind it. You know, it takes some inspiration from Rojas here. Walked into a school completely alone. Now, obviously, that's already terrifying enough, but even being a female in this industry or in any industry, walking in by yourself without that maybe a support system or a buddy is very hard as well. But I would encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and go for it. And when you start doing that, hit me up, and I'd love to have you on the podcast and hear your story about how you got through this journey as well. Appreciate you being in the chat. Thank you so much. What are some hobbies or some interests outside of wrestling that you're into?
Outside of wrestling,
I see a lot. I see the Flash T-shirt. I see some poster on your right that I'm trying to scope out that I can't quite make out what it is.
I am a fan of superheroes growing up. I do love like all Marvel, DC, indie comics. I also do play video games from time to time. I do play like some, besides wrestling, I do play like some Pokemon, and I am into Star Wars. I am very much into geek/nerd culture. Also, a lover of anime too. Like when you said Demon Slayer, I did pop a little bit. I was like, oh, we're going there.
Yeah. I'm trying. I think I'm 4 episodes in. I struggle with Japanese animation. It's hard for me to get into. A lot of it is lack of understanding, a lack of understanding the culture and understanding the style of the anime, and the inner dialogue stuff is it's funny to me. Like how they narrate is like, oh, she's such a pretty girl, but I'll never do it. Like, it's just like, oh my God, just do it. Like that anime style, like, it just drives me bonkers. But I'm starting to get past all of that. You know what I mean? I always do the inner monologue jokes all the time. It just makes me, I'll be at work and I'll be like, oh, that pallet's so high in the sky. If I will all my might, I can get it. It's like, but to me, that's corny as fuck, but people like it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. Yeah,
and Crunchyroll, if you need someone to do voice acting for an anime,
hit me up. ABJ is always available.
Well, that's a problem with me too. Obviously I'm watching the dubbed versions, right? But every voice actor that they get to do these anime shows, like I watch this one, I watch another one, they all sound the same. Like there's no character that stands out voice acting wise to another one. Like one guy does like 100 different shows. It's like, I think that's kind of a disservice to the show. I think the personality of the tone and the character is misled with some of the dubbing, because it doesn't translate between each person. They all kind of blend together, and I think that does anime, at least for me, a giant disservice.
Oh yeah, no. I really didn't really notice that until you mentioned it. But when you started mentioning that, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, they know. There are a lot of guys who do the same guy who does like 70 different shows. I'm like, oh yeah, you're kind of
too much. Hire somebody else. Hit me up. I'll do it, Crunchyroll. I come cheap.
Free plug. ABJ Podcast.
What voice would you want me to voice? Like what anime would you want this voice to be onto a character?
I could see you play a teacher role, to be honest. If I'm being honest, like a teacher in a slice of life anime for me.
Gotcha. Well, what is Lily wants to know? Witchcraft by Lily, which, by the way, rocking the Witchcraft by Lily T-shirt. What is your favorite anime? What do you like watching?
I haven't really watched anime in a while. I've been so busy with training and just life, but I am waiting for Black Clover, next season of Black Clover to come out. And
what's Black Clover? What's the premise of that?
Black Clover is essentially just magic.
Okay.
Have you ever watched Naruto?
No.
Dang it. There's like a class system, and this one kid has to start out from the bottom where he has no magic powers at all. And he's just working his way up saying, oh, I'll never give up. And you slowly see him.
Is Naruto the one where they run weird?
What's up?
Is Naruto the one where they run weird?
Yes, but they do the bad way. Yeah, where they get made, where some kids but Black Clover doesn't do that, thankfully. But no, it's just.
Does anyone in a wrestling Naruto run between the ropes? Is that a thing? Does anyone do that?
No, but you're kind of making me want to try that now.
There you go, adding another layer to your game. If you Naruto run between ropes, I'll die on commentary if I ever get to call one of your matches.
Oh, I'm gonna do that, especially just for you now. I'm gonna make you pop, brother.
Yeah. See, Black. I only two I'm watching right now is Demon Slayer, and I've been watching Death Note. I really like Death Note.
I love Death Note. Death Note. I do remember watching that, and it was so good. I think I watched it when I was like 14.
That's what I'm finding out too. A lot of these animes are like 30 years old. I'm like, what? I didn't realize they've been around that long.
Yeah, but no, one of my other favorite ones would probably have to be My Hero Academia. It's essentially
I've heard about that one.
Essentially just superheroes, superpowers, and a whole high school setting. It's actually really good. I've fallen off of it because I've been so busy with life, wrestling, and everything. But I am gonna get back on it soon. So
yeah, that would definitely be my advice. Is don't forget your hobbies outside of the business, or you'll drive yourself insane. And definitely make time for your friends and family, because putting a lot of time into this, you will get lost in the sauce. 100%. For someone who's just starting out, if somebody were to be listening to this, we have some people in the chat. Obviously, hopefully I'm saying that right. Michelle said, they're trying to start off. What would be some advice that you would give someone who's in your shoes? And I know you're only, in a year, and you're still, but you've accomplished a lot, and you've been through a lot, whether it's mentally with your family, and then obviously going into a new industry, a new business. What's some advice or words of encouragement you would give to someone who's beginning?
I'd say one piece of advice I'd probably have to say, do it scared. Because if you're doing it scared, you really have nothing to lose, to be honest. One of my friends taught me that, because she literally has a tattoo that says "Do it scared," and that's like her motto. And I just think about
Who's
it every
that?
time. One of my good friends named Colleen. She's a good person.
Oh, I thought it was a wrestler. I thought
No. It's just a good friend of mine. But no, I went with the mindset to wrestling school. I'm scared, but I'm gonna do it, and it's worked wonders for me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So just do it scared, and the rest will come. Because every time I walk into those doors, I'm like, I'm not scared anymore. I'm home. I'm home for like a good 2 hours getting beat up, and I love it.
What are some goals that you have set for yourself when it comes to the rest of 2024 and going forward?
Well, rest of 2024, I am looking to challenge for some titles. If any
a year in, look at you, Flash! Come on, titles. Look at this guy.
I am looking for a title shot. I do want to prove myself. I have been working on luchas, so.
What title are you eyeing up? What promotion? What title?
I don't really have a title in mind right now. If anyone wants to give me a shot, I will talk the talk, and I will back it up to the best of my ability. And let's see if you deserve to be a champion.
Now, do you drive yourself, or what's your? If I get you a booking, you can make a drive into Pennsylvania.
I would love to. I would love to.
Okay, I may put your name out there. I'm getting a little stroke at this one promotion that needs. Are you babyface or heel?
I am a babyface.
We need baby faces. Faces.
I would love to be the baby face, man. Hey, I'm always down. I'm always down for a good match.
I think we might have got you booked. And we might we'll talk a little more off air, but we need baby faces. And I'm telling you, maybe I said there's that opportunity for me to call one of your matches. This can be self-serving for both of us,
Hey, win-win.
Yeah, win-win, absolutely. What wrestler? There you go. What wrestler do you think your style embraces the most or resembles the most?
Wrestler, probably. I'm blanking because there's literally, I think, of so many right now. But I always love the phrase, "Don't try to be this wrestler, be your own wrestler." But to me, I'd probably have to go with Bandito, to be honest. I know he does all the flips and everything. I'm still nowhere near that level, but he also has great Yave style of wrestling where it's just submission holds and everything. And I'm learning many submission holds thanks to Hot Sauce and Drew Gulak. Submission kings right there. So
yeah, Tracy will stretch you out.
Oh, I have been stretched out by Drew Gulak in the ring, and unforgiving that man is, but I love it. I love it so much.
How does it feel that the guy who is like the tutorial for the video game is your coach? Like, is that a? Like when you play the video game, Drew Gulak is coaching you in the video game, and he's your real life coach. Like that'll never get taken away from you.
It's a surreal moment because every time when 2K first came out and I was playing the tutorial like everyone does, I was like, I can't get away from you, Drew, can I? You're always there. Oh, love it.
What is your favorite wrestling match that you have done so far in your career?
Favorite wrestling match. WrestleMania weekend. It wasn't. It was like a Rumble at Suplex Vintage Wrestling. I've met so many people. Atmosphere was great. I got body slammed by a woman who I'm twice the size of.
Oh my God, you did! You got scoop slammed by Zenith.
I did.
I did call in your matches. I called you getting bodied by Zenith.
Yes, you did. That's where I knew you from. I was like, oh,
yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
So you did call one of my matches.
That honestly, for a year in, you wrestled in front of probably 2,000, 3,000 people. That street was packed.
I thought it was like 700, to be honest.
No, there was probably 2,000 people there.
Oh, damn. But no, that was probably one of the highlight matches of my career.
Highlight of my career. I'll never probably do anything as cool as that ever again.
It'll probably be a while for me, but I always look back at that match and I was just thinking, oh, so cool. Seeing everyone in the mat, seeing all the people.
I took a bump during that Rumble.
Did you?
Yeah. Thunder Frog went up and dropped the hammer in the ring and knocked me off my feet on commentary. The whole ground shook. Yeah. That's what I thought. That's where I thought. That's definitely what happened with the earthquake. It was Thunder Frog landed in Philly that week.
He was practicing. He was practicing that move.
He was. Yep.
Freaking Thunder Frog. Shot.
He's so good too.
Great.
What is the most surreal moment you've had in so far or that you've experienced within the wrestling community?
Probably Suplex, to be honest. If I'm not gonna lie, I think Westside Gun took a picture with me in my cape, like just the background facing. I was like, okay, this is cool. Then you see Daniel Garcia shopping around for his shirt. You have
Daniel Garcia was there that day?
I think so. That's what I thought. I heard someone say maybe he was.
I know Wheeler was there. Wheeler was watching there. You guys. Yeah.
We also just seeing everyone just show up and show out for WrestleMania weekend in general.
There was people there who I didn't even realize was there. Some people said the rumors of who people thought they saw there that day was unbelievable. Like they said that Little Uzi Vert was there. I don't know how true that is, but it's Suplex. He has gone there. Like that's his spot that he hangs out.
I have seen that clip. I have seen that one clip they have on their Instagram.
Yeah. Carmelo was there too.
Carmelo was there. Yeah, no, WrestleMania. Oh,
yeah. As I said, Carmelo was there too. Yeah,
WrestleMania week was probably. Yeah, WrestleMania week was probably the highlight of my career because it was just jam packed with seminars from people I've seen on TV. Also wrestling for Fox 29 at like 8 a.m, having to come to catch one at like 6 a.m. through like noon. I was tired, but I was also very happy and grateful for the opportunity. And then I went to my first WrestleMania in Philly. So that's a moment I will never forget in my life.
I didn't have the funds to go to Mania, so I missed out on Mania, but I got to experience a Mania week, which was I wanted to do Mania week commentary, and I got to do it at Suplex. That was my only booking of the week, and I had an absolute blast. What are some promotions that are out there that you would love to work for, or that you have your eye on, that you see the roster, or you see people there, and you're like, I want to be in the mix of that place?
I would like to work for Labor of Love, to be honest. I have been backstage at the shows, and I think I have been to a few of their shows, and I love it. I love the atmosphere every time. It's incredible.
It's a great locker room.
It is a great locker room. Another one, probably, I have seen a lot of CZW on my feed, and I do train with some CZW guys that come to Catchpoint every now and then. And I just feel like it'd be a great opportunity.
Yeah. Who are some people that are on the independent scene right now that if people aren't aware of them or they should be aware of them, are some of your favorites that you enjoy watching? Who are some people you'd like to put over?
I would love to put over some tag teams like The Rep, Nate Wallace, and Dave. I do love those. They do train. I am trained by Nate Wallace too, and he just has such an eye for tag team wrestling. It's amazing. I think literally yesterday we spent a whole class going over tag team psychology, and it was so insightful to me because he taught me stuff that I didn't even pay attention to until I was right then and there. And I was like, oh, I can see how that adds a layer to it. Also, another team, post game, Vinny Talata and Mike, Miami Mike. Love those guys in the ring. Their charisma is on another level.
Yeah, love those guys. Is tag team wrestling something you're possibly interested in the future, or would you have to find that right partner?
I think I'd have to find the right partner because right now kind of just want to focus on singles. Don't get me wrong, I love tag team wrestling. I just don't see myself in it right now.
Yeah. If you were to team up, who would your partner be?
Who would my partner be? That's actually a really good question. I can't really think off the top of my mind right now. Oh, you kind of put me in the spot there. We kind of got to double back to that.
Any other talent you want to put over?
Talent. Shout out to Lost Boys. Lost Boys.
Love them.
Yeah,
the whole stable. I love them all. Very, very nice kids.
Yeah, I have trained Junie Underwood, have team to Catch Point, had trained with him, gave such good insights. Also, shout out to Rocket, Sean Smith.
Yeah. I think the Rocket moniker is now dead. I think he's Too Smooth now, right?
Oh, Too Smooth Sean Smith.
Sean Smith, yeah.
Forgive me, Sean, but no, he's great in the ring. First time I trained with him, he just floated in the air like no other I've ever seen. I was like, oh.
He's going to be special. He's going to be special.
The guy's going to be something great.
Yeah. All right. Well, the last one here to wrap up for, what are you grateful for right now, and are you currently happy?
I'm currently grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head, a home, and my whole support system, friends, family. I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful for my 2 little puppies I have right now. They're so cute. I come home from work and they just greet me at the door.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have 2. I have a Chihuahua and a Chihuahua Yorkie mix that was gifted on Christmas.
You're worried about embracing the lucha wrestling style for a stereotype, and you're rocking a Chihuahua? Come on, my guy.
I wasn't given those options. One was a gift, and one I've had since I was a child. Okay, and as for the happy question, I'm very happy right now in my life right now. I have everything you could ever want and more, and like I'm still young, so there is opportunity to chase more, but I am very happy with what I have right now.
I do have 2 more bonus ones here for you. Who is somebody in the industry right now that has been as a support system to you? Like maybe in moments where you're on a low, or you're struggling with something, or maybe you're down on yourself, or you have that mental block, or you just can't seem to get something right. Who's someone that you've been able to lean on in this business that's been a really good support system for you?
Probably one of my trainers, also Kurt Robinson. He's amazing. He's been doing this ever since I think he was like 14, he said. And the guy is around my age, so it's nice for him to say every time after training, oh, hey, you were messing up, but over the training period, you really improved a lot. You picked up on it, you noticed it, and you fixed it. And every time I train with him, it's amazing. It's great. I'm forever honored by that guy.
And I'm sorry, go ahead. A little bit of
no, that's it.
So if you were to give the salesman pitch for Catch Point Wrestling, from the time that you started to the time you are now, why should someone go to Catch Point Wrestling? What are some things that you think that make that place special, that people should come and check out that school?
We are essentially, I don't like to put a little brag card, but I essentially believe we are one of the best wrestling schools in the East Coast, to be honest. We have a variety. We teach lucha, we teach technical wrestling, we teach the fundamentals of wrestling, as the course says, fundamentals of professional wrestling. Overall, great atmosphere. No one's really going into business for themselves. I know I'm probably using that term loosely, but no one's saying, oh yeah, I'm the best one here, everyone here sucks. No, it's all one big happy family. We have drop-ins that come in every once in a while, and every time they come in, I'm like, oh, hey, well, I'm so excited to train with new people because they teach me stuff, and then I hope that they learn some stuff from us as well. And if everyone walks away learning something, I'd see that as an absolute win. We have trainers from all walks of life. I also love the fact that all of our trainers are currently active wrestlers right now.
Yeah.
So they can say, oh, hey, I've been in this locker room. This is how the atmosphere is like. Or hey, so-and-so. And that's what I kind of really love.
Do you guys have any cool special appearances show up? So obviously you got a guy who WWE, you had a guy who is AEW, another one ROH. Have you ever had any pop-ins that you're like, oh, today at school, this person's here and I got to work with them or learn some things?
During Mania Week, we did have a lot of seminars. We had Paul London, we had Eminem,
Paul.
We had Athena, we had
Athena showed up.
Athena showed up on I think on a Thursday morning.
I am an Athena mark.
She was so great. I love her current Ring of Honor work right now.
She's the GOAT. I felt like
she is a GOAT.
Yeah, she's so good.
Who else do we have? Eminem, like Mansoor. I think that's all I can think of right now.
Who's somebody that's in wrestling now that you would love to pick their brain and talk to about anything in the business?
Anyone in the business? Probably. It's a tough one because there's a lot of them. If I'm being honest,
I hands down, no questions asked. I know my answer.
Probably Osprey right now, to be honest, because the guy's in his 30s and he's killing it right now. He killed it in Japan, killed it in England, currently killing it here in the United States.
Yeah,
was a super high flyer in his early career. Kind of slowed down a little bit, but still shows hey, he could flip, he could do whatever. He's also great on the mat, great charisma. Like every time you see that guy, the guy is just electric, and I love it. I would love to pick his brain sometime.
I think one of the hardest things in this business, besides being a good wrestler, is developing a unique and original character and making that character stand out and making that. And I think one of the things is being like the gimmick and being the character, but your opponent has to learn your style as much as you have to learn theirs and keep true to who you are as a character. And I don't think there's anyone in professional wrestling history. Now, when I say that, I don't say it because I'm a mark and I'm a super fan, but I don't think there's someone who has been this original and has done something that no one else has ever done in this business and has been doing it so well than Orange Cassidy.
Oh, guy's great. I think
I'm an Orange Cassidy super fan. Like, I love that dude.
No, he's great. I love his whole like literally. I feel like that's just him, like toned down. Like you say the expression. The best character turned up to 11. Cassidy is just like turned down to like a 5, like nonchalant
to a -2. Yeah,
exactly. And I love that. I've never seen that done before, and I love it. It works. I love
how these post press conferences, when he's on them, he's not breaking character, but he's giving you more insight of who he is as a person. Those are the moments I genuinely like. I would love to have a conversation with. I know it'll never happen. But that'd be somebody I would like to talk to who would be willing to, kind of pull the curtain a little back to have that chat. Because I think what they do in wrestling, they're more than just what you see between the ropes. They've been a trainer. They have trained people. They have helped so many people in this business. They're backstage talent when it comes to like putting together shows. Like Orange is insanely talented in the wrestling business and not just being a professional wrestler.
Right. That's what I think is most important in the wrestling world, just being versatile in general.
Yeah.
And I know we had a seminar about that too. I think Bryce Runsberg showed up.
Love Bryce. Another great guy. Love Bryce.
I missed it, but I just wanted to pick his brain too. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Being versatile about just anything in the wrestling business is beneficial to you, to everybody, and just overall the business in general.
Yeah. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time. Before we get out of here, where can people find you? Where can people support you? And do you have any upcoming shows that you would like to put over?
You can find me on Instagram at @ROJAS_wrestling. You can also find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I'm not here to teach you how to use social media. Also on TikTok as well. All socials are ROJAS_wrestling. As for current shows, I do not have any at the moment as I'm focusing on training. So I can get on some shows.
But you're taking bookings, right?
I would love to take bookings.
All right. I'm dead serious. You might be getting a message soon.
I'm waiting on it. I'm always available to take bookings. Just DM me on Instagram or Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And that's about it.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time and you coming on. I apologize I couldn't do I don't like to do a lot of deep dives for anybody on the podcast. I have my style, my questions, what I like to do, and I like to pull out to my interview person has to win me over as much as they have to win over the audience. So I kind of like coming in, I don't watch a lot of the people's matches or listen to their music. I want to learn about who they are. And then if they win me over, I go consume their art. So I really appreciate you coming on and really doing that. I think you did a great job. I think, when it comes down to your adversities and things you have overcome, even outside the wrestling ring of getting in there, I think you have a really cool idea with the gimmick and the cape and the mask. You have a lot of cool aspects, and I think you're really coming out of your shell. And how you said you were very closeted and very kind of reserved, and wrestling slowly breaking that out of you. Keep grinding, and I think the sky's the limit for you.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you so much for the words. Thank you for the opportunity. Love being able to get a chance to talk to you. Been meaning to talk to you. I actually listened to some of your podcasts, and I think conversations are just great in general. So
I
don't sell
appreciate
yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Keep up the good work as well. And I think we're both gonna be really booming
I
later on.
I bank on word of mouth. I don't really pay to get my things out there more than anybody else. I don't like everything that I've gotten to this point has been people recommending me and saying kind things. So the more people do that, the more I'll grow. So I appreciate your kind words as well. And I'd love to have you back on in a short amount of time to come on and kind of relive where we're at now and have a part 2 and catch up and see how you've progressed through this journey.
Of course, man. Anytime you'd love to have me, I'm always down.
All right. Well, make sure everyone goes over and supports him on all social media. Instagram links are below. Everything he just said there, Rojas_wrestling. Go follow him and say, I just listened to you on the ABJ podcast, and you either did bad, good. You give him a rating. You tell him what you think. Tear him up. No, I'm joking. But and get some merchandise out there so people can go by and support your t-shirts and your merchandise. That's going to do it for episode 144. Like I said, we will be back this Thursday reviewing Terrifier 2 for Not Cool in High School Horror with Courtney Smith. Here's some music by the Converse Kid. We'll see you next time.
This is an ABJ Podcast production. Join us. Would you kindly join us at the Cult of ABJ Discord community? We'll see you there. Join us.